So first I will initiate a full backup. After that I'll take a differential backup, and then we can schedule T-log backup. In between the backups, full and differential and transactional backup, we will have data modifications in the database. Okay, and then we will try to do the database recovery by using restore method. Okay, so if you apply only full backup, till what changes we are getting, differential backup, and if you apply full differential transaction log backups in the restoration method, so what kind of data we are receiving. So what option we will use, we will see here. So I am taking a database full backup.
From disk.
Now I am taking
It's not from.
that is what now I am taking the backup. After that I will use the restoration.
Okay.
File name directory name is wrong. So here if you see here space program files. Okay, so I have a full database backup. That means the database objects get backed up. I have a full database backup. Next, now I will do some modifications in my database. So what I will do, I'll create one more table. I mapped the database to the user database labdb1. I executed so that a fresh table is created with 12 records. So there are some data is available in your table. Similarly, in the existing database, we do have some modifications. So what I am doing here, records are there. Here what I am doing, I am updating the student number name for all the records in a table T2. So we do have data modifications, right? So we do have data modifications. Now let me take the differential backup. So with the same syntax, backup database, database name, to location, and the backup location and the file of the differential backup, and then the keyword with differential.
With the difference.
Okay, with the differential. If I use this query, I can be able to recover backup by the changes that happened from previous full backup. So
Full backup.
yes, now still I continue to do some modifications. Before that, here again I will take a transaction log backup. Backup log, the same operation can be done via GUI as well. T log 1 with the differential not required. Okay, so backup log, database name, to disk, the location of the backup file, and the log file name dot. See, if you still see, I have given a typo in my extension, but SQL Server will take, just for my understanding, I have given .bak.trn. For previous times I used
Yeah.
typo mistake. Okay, here now I am taking transaction log backup,
TLD.
backup log. So if you use the syntax I used. Okay, so what it will do, it will back up the active content from the transaction. So backed up, we'll go to notepad. I have taken full backup, and then added a table with the 12 records, modified table to 12 records. Okay, after that what I have taken, differential backup and then tlog backup. This is what I did. Now again I will proceed with data modifications. I am creating one more table, that is table 6. The data is getting populated. Right, now again I am taking a transaction log backup. I have changes in the database. I have scheduled continuous transaction log backup. Now I am taking the transaction log backup. Okay, so in the transaction log backup I used location as a T2, the same thing. Okay, fine, I used it. Now again what I am doing, I am doing some modifications in table 3. Second time transaction log backup. Let me still at the same time my application is connecting to the database and it continue to do modifications. The values in our database is keep on updating. Okay, now uh, I have a data loss. Now this is the strategy. Someone accidentally deleted the data from the database objects, right? That means I only deleting the tables. So now I have a corruption, or else I have a some deletion happened. Now I need to recover it. Correct. So what are the things I have? I have a full backup and then differential backup. I have transaction log backup. So if I apply a transaction log, the full backup, till what time I can able to recover? So before the content, that means table 5 I added, 12 records I modified, Okay, and then table 6 I added and 12 records I modified from table 3. So I will be losing this entire modifications if I use only full database backup. On top of full backup, if I use differential backup, I can able to recover full backup data and then table 5 with the 12 records and table 2 modifications. Correct? So on top of that, if I apply a transaction log 1, I can able to recover a new table till table 6. Okay, if I apply transaction log 2 also, I can able to till table 6. Okay, here if you see after transaction log backup, I still did some modifications. These 12 records are from table T3. Those 12 records are got backed up in anywhere? No, right? Those are active in our transaction log file. Okay, now if we can take those transactions, you will have this modifications. The active portion is after the logs information which is available from previous transaction log file, transaction log backup. That is called active part in our transaction log backup. So why we are saying active? If you take a transaction log backup, it will backup based on the LSN details, based on the information from the transaction. It backs up the corresponding pages from database files and it will keep in a transaction.trn file, and it will truncate the backed up information from the transaction log file, right? So that's why from previous full backup, from the previous transaction log backup till time the available content in the transaction log is a active content. So previous after the transaction log backup, what will happen? It will truncate. That means that space will be marked for reuse. Correct? We discussed all the things. This active content can be backed up by using initiating a transaction log backup if the database is available. If the database is crashed, the file is available in the physical location. That means where the LSN .ldf files are available. That means if you can able to see LDF file in the physical location, you can still continue to take tail log backup from command prompt. Okay, so if you take the tail log backup, what will happen? The active content from the log file is backed up. That means this in this example, this 12 records will be backed up. In our scenario, the database is online, right? So I can take tail log transaction log backup or else tail log backup. Okay, let me take the tail log backup. So I'm keeping the database, right click, task, backup, database name, tlog backup. I'm giving tail backup. Okay, here two files came. I need to remove one. Remove. Okay, I kept one. Going to options here. So after the backup, you truncate the transaction log backup. That means you are backing up the content and then truncating. That is in this case, tail log backup is our transaction log backup, because our aim is to back up the active content before I proceed with the restoration. Okay, now so back up the tail of the log and leave the database is in restoring phase. So what will happen? It will from online state, it will bring the database to restoring phase. So let me take the database in a backup in tail log with restoring state. Okay, first it will try to get exclusive lock to keep the database in restoring phase. It will try to get the exclusive lock. It will cancel all the connections and it has to own the lock. Then only it can keep the database in restoring phase. See here, database is in use. Someone is using the database. Who is using the database? That information you can get from activity monitor or by using our system objects. Okay. If you see here, this user number speed 52 is using the database, this one. So I will check what that user is doing, and then I will kill the user. I will kill the user by using kill command 52. Since I am using my own session, I executed it because 52 is my session, my process. So I cannot able to kill my own session. That's why what I will do, I'll simply change the database name. Now again, if I see uh, sp underscore who2, that means the sys processes, none of the session is running with the user database. Now we will try to take the transaction tail log backup and bring the database in restoring mode. Still these are common. Compression, striped backup, copy only, those are common. See, now as soon as database acquire the lock, shell lock, exclusive lock, it has completed the database backup. And then if you see here, the database state is changed to restoring. Okay, so now if the database is restoring, you cannot read the data, right? Only you can apply the backup files. You can recover the data into the restoring database from your backup files. Okay, so here let me record it. After this, what I did, I have taken the tail log or active portion. Here why I am using active portion. So here my database is online, that's why the active content is I have taken as a tail log backup. Now so I want to recover till end of the thing, I have to apply full backup and then differential backup. After differential backup,
Different.
transaction log backup one, transaction log backup two, and then tail log backup I have to apply. I am trying to do like this. Can I able to recover?
Mm,
Okay, so our ideal scenario would be latest full backup, latest differential backup, and available after differential backup, all the available transaction log backups. Correct. So if you see here, I also can have a possibility to apply like this: full backup, T log 1, T log 2, T log 3. I mean that is tail log. I am not applying differential backup. So if you see after full backup, those modifications backed up in your differential backup, correct? What your transaction log backup contains? T1. What is your T1 contains? So all the records will be logged in a transaction log, write ahead logging, so that the details will be logged in your transaction log file. Checkpoint happens, it will be written into the disk. If it is a full recovery model, it will not truncate. User has to truncate by taking the backup. So when I take the transaction log backup, T1, the modifications that happen, so everything this table 2 and modifications is get backed up in transaction log backup, correct? So that means T1, my T1 and the differential backup both contain same data in this example. So differential backup backs up the changes that happen from previous full backup. So from the full backup, these two modifications happened. That is backed up in your differential backup. So in the transaction log backup, it backs up the active content from transaction log file. So from the transaction log file, the active content is from full backup. These are the changes. This information is active. So in this example, either I can skip differential backup because differential backup and T-log backup contains same information. That's the reason here I didn't use transaction log backup. We will see it. Clear? Because the transaction different T-log backups contains both the information. If you take T2, transaction log 2 contains only the changes that happen after the previous transaction log file. So in this example, here from full backup, the active content is backed up. Differential backup also same thing. Transaction my T-log also have same thing. That's why I said I still have option 2 while restoration. So we stick to a standard, that is latest full backup, latest differential backup, after the latest differential backup, all available T-log backups, right? So this is the one. Fine. Full backup with no recovery, differential backup with no recovery, T-log backup with no recovery, and T-log 2 with no recovery, T-log back after a final, that is tail log backup with recovery.
Mhm.
Clear? Yeah. Right click on a database, task, restore the database. So which database we are restoring? Where is our backup files? Select not from the database, from the device. Okay, our backup files are in disk. That's why I selected the device. Here, choose files, backup files. First one, we have to apply full backup, correct? So here, see, if you see, to a point in time, to most recent. Okay, from device, so label one, from device. So where did we save those backup files? D, database backup.
Program files.
Okay, 710. T-log I can able to see. Let me see from physical location where is those files. Here I can able to see. Okay, dot. Okay, why it is here? If I see here, dot trn, only trn is showing because my extension I have given as with the typo error. My extension for those backup files are not dot .bak dot .trn. See here, there is a typo mistake, so that's why it is not showing. So what I will do, I'll select all files. Now it show. Okay, now I selected full backup. I selected the full backup file and then going to options, in which mode I need to select with restore, that means restore with recovery, restore with no recovery, the other one is standby location. Okay, so here with replace, that means if the database is available, when I try to create, so database contains database files, data file and log file. If you more data files, it's a secondary data files. Those files it will copy from your backup file. So since the database is already exist, you have to forcibly place them by using option with replace. Okay, so I will be scripting out this. Now I have, if I run this, what will happen? The database will be restored till previous full backup, but it will not go to the recovery phases because we are using with, sorry, if you use with recovery, after the copy the database will go to recovery phases, it will bring online. We have to use with no recovery since we need to apply differential and other transaction log backups. Okay, so if the database is in with no recovery, you cannot able to read the database, it will be in a restoring phase. So if you use the standby, it's similar to with no recovery, but those uncommitted, those transactions will be temporarily saved in a location, standby file location. So that the advantage of that, what will happen, the database will be turned into standby read-only mode, and then on top of that we can continue our restoration procedure. So I have given the default standby file location. Okay, okay, file is already available. Okay, i'm I'm restoring the database in a standby recovery model so that we can see till what data it got backed up. Okay, the database is backed up, sorry, restored with standby. So the database, since I used standby mode, it turned into standby mode. Else if you do with no recovery, it will be in a restoring phase. Check what data it contains. It contains student, student 2, student 3, student 4. Okay, go to notepad here. So till full backup it backed up, so these changes are, I am not able to see these changes, correct, the new modifications. Now on top of it I will be applying next backup, that is differential backup I am applying. Okay, so if you keep the database in standby, you can apply only transaction log backups. So here I will continue this option. So what is that? Option 2, full backup. On top of that, tlog1, tlog2, tail log backup. Okay, where is my transaction log file? It is in a device. So from a device I am selecting, first I will be applying trn1. Once that is complete, I will apply trn2. After that, last transaction, right? Again I will be going to options, again leave the database with standby so that I can able to validate the changes if I keep in with no recovery. So let us this time we will see in with no recovery. So okay, with no recovery I am doing it. Database completed. See, the database is in restoring mode. I cannot able to check the changes. Still on top of it I can able to apply the changes, right? So this time again I will do a transaction log backup, that is the same one what I applied, again I am doing. This time I'll select the option with, sorry, standby. As soon as I specify standby, a standby location already available, it will get overwritten. So here if you see point in time, so till the end of the transaction which is available, all will get restored. Okay, so standby completed, so that after that database restored the latest, transaction backup 1, and then it turned into standby mode. Now we will check it. Student 2, 3, 4, 5. So before transaction log backup, we skipped a differential since we are using this method. Okay, this one I am doing now. This full transaction 1, transaction 2, tail log backup. Okay, so my after applying it tail log transaction log backup 1, I should be able to see table 5 with the 12 records and table 2 with 12 modifications. So yes, I am able to see table 5 with the 12 records, fine, and then similarly table 2 with the data modifications. Yes, I am able to see the data modified changes, correct. So after that the next transaction is transaction log backup 2. So I will continue to apply the restore transaction log backup. Here if you see from file or tape, so while taking the backup we are sending to a tape or device. Now taking from a file or tape. So in the typical syntax, in the restore database name, from disk, you will see from disk. Now I will be browsing my transaction log file, sorry, transaction log backup. Now I need to apply second one, yes, correct, second one. Now if I leave the database is in restore with recovery, what will happen? The database will come online, recovery phases will happen. I cannot apply the next one, so that I can able to recover only table 6 with the 12 records. The active portion I cannot able to gain, because now if I do with recovery, I cannot apply further transactions, right? So it's mandatory to choose the recovery method. Okay, so again I will be keeping in standby so that I can validate my changes. Okay, I'm executing it, so that means I'm restoring it, so that looks like is unable to gain the lock. Need to see who is using it. Yes, database in use. Who is using this? In our previous example we have sp underscore who to. Speed 51 is using the database. It is waiting for command. What is 51 is doing? What is 51 is doing? So I will kill the 51. I will check the what 51 is doing by, we can check dbcc input buffer. By using dbcc input buffer, we can see what query it is executing. 51. If I execute 51, it says it is using this command. What this command indicates? It can indicates, okay, it is parsing some internal thing. What 51? I'll go to 51. I have more windows. Yeah, this is 52. This is 54. Okay, let us go ahead and uh, kill 51. So who is running 51? 51 process speed 51. This is 56. 51 is being executed by host from server host and then by this user. Okay, this user is command is awaiting. Okay, let me go ahead and kill it.
Hello?
Yeah, Naga. Yeah, Naga. Tell me, Naga.
Hello?
Yeah, Naga had a audio issue, so connection was re-established now. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we found like database is being used by session 51. We have validated it and we killed. Now we can proceed with our restoration. So with same standby and executed it. So after 50 restoring the transaction log 2, now see if you see the new table, it restored, it copied from my transaction log backup, it copied and it didn't bring up the database online since it didn't go to recovery phases. Those uncommitted transactions is temporarily placed in your standby file, and if you do a restoration with the standby, it will still allow you to do another transaction, another restoration. Now after T2 you have tail log backup that needs to be applied. Now I am going ahead and apply a tail log backup since the last one can be applied using with the recovery option. So from tape, see here two options. To the most recent state possible means it will copy and restore all the available information from the backup file. That means especially for a transaction log backup, all the transactions that are available in your T-log file that will be applied into your database. If you want to specify a time, that means what will happen if you specify a time till particular time, what are the transactions that are available, those only get restored. Let us say for an example, I know that at particular time like 11:50 I have dropped a time, I have dropped a bunch of records. Before 11:50 I have a accurate data, so I need to restore till only 11:49. In that case, from the available future backups you can able to restore till particular point time. So this is possible for the full backup full recovery model with for bulk log recovery model may or may not possible, because
Stand.
if any bulk transactions happens, we cannot assure that we can able to recover the point in time. So this is called to specify a date and time, this is called point in time restoration. So in this example we have more we can see okay, we can select a point in time. So we can select so I will change to 0 0. So that means it will apply from the backup, it will apply till this point. So see, only point in time, this is called point in time back restoration. So I'll apply. If you see here, I forgot to change the options for this restoration. By default, the option would be with recovery. Got it? So if I click OK, the database is in. Let me refresh it. Still in restoring phase. So on which model it applied? I have backed up it. Sorry, I have scripted my thing. So I ran this query restore log on database disk from this location tail log backup. Stop it. Okay. So till this point it's restored. After that, why it didn't in the database online? Okay. So you now if you want to check whether those changes are restored or not, restore log, sorry, restore database name with recover. Now we are not doing anything, we are just moving the database to recovery phases. So we are not applying from any of the disk. We already applied full and then T1 T2 and tail log backup. Now in the previous one we didn't check the option with recovery, that's why I'm just yellowing the database to recovery phases. I restore database successfully, fast 0 pages. This, if you refresh it, database back online. We have, see what happened here. Where is my table 5 and table data? Table 1 and table 5. Because I specified time till 8.
Nine.
So at 8 at this time I have corrupted data. After that I have taken a tail log backup. Correct. My active log contains table deletion. So after backup, log backup to what I did, I deleted table and then I added 12 records and then I have taken active tail log. In this active tail log, what I specified the time. Stop at used. I used stop at. So I used 8. My local time I used 8. If you see our backup completion time, tail log backup. So it completed 7:48. Okay, that is correct only, right? So the tail log backup contains removal of those um, tables and then 12 record modifications from table 3. So we couldn't have applied the last one. So our aim is to recover the database. So that means before deleted objects. So if till this should be fine, right? If you want to have point in time, you can apply the active log. Here you have data corruption is happened. If you apply this, again you are restoring the missed data or corrupted data. So that is what here happened. So you came to same the deleted records and the deleted objects. So completely what are the transactions we performed, we executed it. Okay. Let me quickly do it. This is log, this is stop it, this is replace. Okay, let us review the read. Restore database name from disk. Okay, with file name will be replaced as no recovery. Okay, I applied a full one. Fine. Next, I have to apply full applied. On top of that, latest differential I will apply. The name of the differential is now this time this is not required, replace is not required. We are not going to replace it. Full applied and then differential applied. Cannot open differential operating system error. Backup dot basic. Since SQL Server, the goodness is the error messages are very user friendly. It is unable to read the differential backup file. So differential completed. Next one, T1, T2, restoring T1 and T2. Restore. This time we are applying log from which location. Here we have that syntax from disk. Okay, location of the transaction log file. With options we will see standby file not required. I am not using with standby. The order should be T1 and T2. Let's say if I try to apply T2, it will there will be mismatch in LSN sequence. So it will not allow to do a restoration with the T2. With standby, so that these changes I can able to see. The differential backup cannot be restored because no files are ready to roll backward. So it is didn't able to do a restoration when I try to use 2. Yes, database came online. Recovery completed. Yep. So all the data up to date. I mean, without data loss, without corruption, we could able to recover our objects. So the typical sequence would be latest full backup. On top of that, we will apply latest differential plus the available all
Yeah.
the available T-log backups. Until that last T-log backup, we will use with no recovery. For last one,
Right.
we will use with recovery.
Recovery.
Yeah, clear?
Yeah.
So any questions, Nagar, Sirisha?
We are following that. First, we are making changes in tables. Then we are executing those queries.
Yeah, the reason why I modified means in our example, what we did, we updated the records so that we can observe the changes after restoration. If we don't have modifications, so what changes we will observe? So if you see in ideal real-time scenario, if you take a banking example, okay, so the transactions and everything will be happening in a database. Correct. So the users are connecting, adding to the money, adding to their accounts and withdrawing from their accounts. So each modifications that will be logged in your database. Okay. So based on your backup strategy, you should be able to recover the data without data loss. That is the aim, our aim. So for that,
Yeah.
we will be applying the all the possible ways with to achieve that goal with the minimum data loss.
Okay.
In our example, what we did, so we have taken the backup and we did modifications, okay, and then we have taken differential T-log backups, and then we try to restore it one by one, so that we can able to observe. If we apply only observe, if we only apply full backup, what kind of data loss we will have. If you apply, why we have to apply all the sequence full differential T-log? Because to achieve minimum data loss. To
Yeah.
demonstrate that, we did some modifications and then we took backup, we did modifications, again we took backup, and then we followed the sequence.
Okay. Yeah.